Hello, it's Biggins here, and welcome to Bingo All Stars. Oh, well, what a week we've had. Are you all ready to play bingo? I'm sure you are. Now, of course, Bingo All Stars is where you get to play bingo with all the stars. People like Linda Lusardi, Rusty Lee, Mr. Motivator, just to name but four or three. Anyway, we're in for a good night, I can tell you. We had a fun week last week on Saturday. Linda and Rusty and I filmed the Bingo Awards, which was great fun indeed. And we all thoroughly enjoyed that. My knee is still not good, but I'm getting there. And I hope that by the end of the year, I'll be able to have an operation, which is great. Now, here's some really exciting news. I don't know whether you've heard this. We've had our first big winner on the show. And what did they win? £1,000? £2,000? £5,000? £10,000? £50,000? 60? 70? 80? 90? No! £95,000. Oh my goodness, how fantastic. Isn't that wonderful news? Someone won £95,000. Now, was it Always Sparkle 2, who's here tonight, or Home 177, or Kate Pop, or was it Astoon? Was one of you the winner of that £95,000? It wasn't me. Anyway, I've got to explain to you that unfortunately, in this wonderful technical side we have a delay of 30 seconds. So that's why it's a bit odd. But anyway, let's find out what's coming up tonight's show. Well, we've got Vince's big quiz. Hooray! We've got Rusty on the phone. Hooray! And we've got new games, classic TV theme tunes. So there we go. Now, first of all, let's hear a little clip from a very famous comedy series that I did in 1974. It was really famous. It's still running now, which is fantastic news. Nearly 50 years old. Let's have a clip from Porridge.
Here.
Where?
Know something you don't know for once.
That'll be the day.
I know 13 across for a start.
Don't do that, God, but that's the height of bad manners, that is.
Anyhow, it's rook.
Yeah.
Type of bird, R blank blank K, rook.
Not necessarily.
R blank blank K, what else could it be?
Could just be rilk.
Rilk?
It's rilk, rilk, R blank blank K, rilk.
There's no such bird.
Well, that's where you're wrong, you see. You're not as smart as you thought you was, are you?
It's a flaming rilk, then.
A rilk is a migratory bird from the North Baltic shores of Finland. The main distinguishing feature is that it flies backwards to keep the snow out of its eyes. Go on, ask me another, Bamba.
I bet it's rook.
It's not rook. Rook's too obvious, isn't it? Rook. Look, R-I-L-K. I put it in now in ink, see? Now then, what is the other bit of information you wish to impart?
Oh, yeah. First results of the parole board are through.
Yeah, and?
Well, they've turned down Gibson, who's in for car theft, and okayed Mal Brown, who's in for manslaughter. It's balmy, isn't it?
No, not necessarily. No, it just reflects today's modern standards, that's all.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, it only takes 1 minute to create a life, doesn't it? Takes 10 minutes to make a car, doesn't it? About 5 minutes for it to fall to bits again and all. Oh, look, here they come. Nat Mills and Bobby.
Well, the old devil did it this time.
What, you worked your parole?
Yeah, sailed through it.
I told you it was a doddle,
It
see?
was the clean shirt that did it.
Come on in, son. He did it. Come and sit down, Grandad, come on. Well, we're very pleased for you, aren't we, Len?
Oh, yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Oh. The old Max Jaffa cakes, look at him.
I bet you'll notice a few changes since 1959.
Yeah, 1959, yeah. I sold a hot car in 1959, yeah. Zodiac it was. Two-tone Ford Zodiac with wing mirrors, yeah. I took the wife to Butlins on the proceeds. Yeah, we won the bronze medal in the T for 2 cha-cha, you know.
I were in junior school in 1959.
Yeah?
Sat next to Anne Podmore. She were left-handed.
Fascinating. I bet you got on the right side of her.
Brilliant stuff. That was, of course, the wonderful Ronnie Barker. And our producer said there was a young actor in it. Of course, he doesn't know that was the brilliant and astounding Richard Beckinsale, who would have been such a big star if he'd lived, and sadly he died. I remember vividly, I was making a film with Derek Jarman, the great director, and we were making the film of the Shakespeare's The Tempest, and we were all up in Northumberland. And what happened was that I was staying in this hotel, and I was right at the top of the hotel, and there were no phones in the rooms in those days. And suddenly the manager came panting up from the top of from the bottom of the hotel up to the top and said, "Mr. Biggins, the Sun newspaper want to speak to you on the phone." And I was terrified. I thought, my God, what do they want now? What have I done? So I went all the way down to the reception and I got on the phone, and the editor said, "Mr. Biggins, we're very sad to tell you that Richard Beckinsale has died." And I remember it was just the most awful feeling, because Richard Beckinsale would have been the biggest star ever if he'd lived this day. He was absolutely brilliant, so nice. And of course, the other actor in that was David Jason, who was came in as the old man. Of course, he wasn't an old man at all. Absolutely brilliant. And that other young man with dark hair was me. Yes, that was me, Christopher Biggins, playing Lukewarm, the cook. And we did the series in 1974. Ronnie gave, I think it was 8 of us who were regulars in the TV series. He gave us all a tankard, a silver tankard, and he put Slade Prison 1974 on the had it engraved on the tankard, and put my name, Lukewarm, and he gave me an initial, and it read Lukewarm P. Ronnie Barker was so funny. I always say about Ronnie Barker, which I think is true, Ronnie Barker was a comedy actor. He wasn't a comedian, because comedy actor, he was very generous. He knew exactly what he wanted. And if he felt that one of Dick Clement or Ian Le Frene's lines was better said by someone else, like myself, he would give it to me. And I learnt that lesson, that you see the whole show, not just your performance. And like most comedians, they take all the funny lines themselves. And of course, they exhaust themselves, and the show fails miserably. It's a good lesson to learn. Ronnie was wonderful. He was quite fantastic, very kind, very generous. And Sid Lotterby, who directed Porridge, sadly died last, I think, 3 weeks ago. And he was brilliant. I remember going along for the audition and meeting Dick Clement and Ian Le Frene and Sid. I don't think Ronnie was there, funny enough. And they explained the part to me, and I came up with a few ideas. And one of them was the knitting. I was always seen knitting whenever I was sitting down listening to things, which was quite a funny thing to do. So that was good. And David Jason, of course, has gone on to bigger and greater things. A huge star on dramas and comedy series. He was really wonderful. It was really good days. It was marvelous. And you know, that comedy series still lives on today. I mean, it's on, if it's not on Sky One or Sky Television, it's on ITV. It's on BBC or BBC Two. And if it's on satellite television, we don't get any repeats at all. But if it's on BBC One or BBC Two, I get quite a lot of money. And the Ronnie Barker estate gets even more money, I'm pleased to say. Those were the good old days when you got repeats. No longer. No repeats now.
Hiya, Biggins. It's Barry, the director here. We're loving your
Oh,
stories about porridge. It's the chat room are really enjoying it. Vince was talking about baby Biggins there. How old were you when you were doing it, and was it quite daunting with Ronnie Barker, who was such a legend, you being so early into your career?
no, he was, as I said, he was a lovely, lovely man. And I was, in fact, 26 when I did that. And I really was a baby. I mean, I was born in 48. And so 48, 74 is 26, yes. So, but it was a thrill to get. But I mean, it was like any other job. We didn't think that 50 years, well, we're not 50 years quite, but nearly 50 years later, we'd still be, we'd still be running. And it's still a very, very much popular thing with the public. They absolutely love it. But he wasn't intimidating at all, Ronnie. He was a real gent and a brilliantly funny man, as you saw from that clip. It was marvellous. Really enjoyable. How's everything going tonight, Barry?
We're doing great. So we've had our first winner, an account called O Fed Up. I don't think they're going to be fed up much longer because they won one line, two lines, and the full house. So they got £4, £8, and £10. So doing some quick maths, 22 quid already in the bank there for O Fed Up. And we've got some new faces, as you mentioned. Obviously, Astoon is one of our regulars, but we've got a lot of new faces tonight, which is great. We've got a big hello to Smiler66, Jay Burtney, 1318, Hudson, who comes in and out. He's a regular, and he was one of the ones that was asking about Ronnie Barker in the chat room. Kate Pop, Always Sparkle 2, and Home 177. So we're really pleased to have you with us, and hopefully you're all tuned in to the YouTube channel as well, so you can see Biggins and hear more of your fantastic stories, which we're all loving there, especially chat host Vince, who says Ronnie Barker was such a lovely man, a proper national treasure.
He really was. He was very special indeed, and a great loss to the comedy world. And it was an era of old-fashioned comedy. I think that's the best way of describing it. It was wonderful. I mean, there were great TV series in those days. I mean, they were marvelous. I'm a bit suspect about the comedy series today. I don't like all the swearing that goes on and the sort of avant-gardeness of it all. But I suppose that's humor changes. It gets better or worse, whatever. But anyway, I was thrilled to be part of that. I did other things. I did a lot with Michael Crawford, which was great. We did Some Others Do Have 'Em. I did about 3 episodes of those, and they were very funny. And Michael Crawford was absolutely brilliant. He was a stickler for professionalism, and I think he got a bad name for that because sometimes he was seen to be rather aggressive, but he just wanted the show to work and be fantastic, which it always was. And then, there were lots of other shows I did. Doctor at Sea, Doctor at Large, all those shows. And they were great comedy series. I remember in the Doctor at Sea, we were doing an episode, and all the regulars were very cocky young actors. And they wrote all their it was live television. They wrote all their lines on the bar. The opening scene was all of us sitting around a bar, and they wrote their lines on the bar, and so they knew them. They could just glance down and say them. And on action, someone knocked over a pint of beer, and all the lines dissolved in front of them. It was the most wonderful moment. It was fantastic, really good. I remember that vividly. Now, is it time for the quiz?
It certainly is. I'm going to try our first ever sound effect now, Biggins. So Here we go. This is
Good
Vince's big quiz. Well, that was hardly worth it, was it?
Is that it?
That's all I've got.
Oh, well, a bit more next time. All right. So here's the first question. A trailer for the new James Bond film was released this week. What is the new film called? So, a trailer for the new James Bond film was released this week. What is the new film called?
While we're waiting for everyone to catch up in the chat room, Biggins, Andreas has typed in and he thinks that your shirt is wicked, which I am assuming is a compliment.
No, I think it's good. I hope I did. Was this the same shirt I wore? I think it's a different one to what I wore the other day at the awards. I think it's slightly different. They're lovely shirts, aren't they? They're from Hawaii, and I went online today to get a few more. Funny enough, they're lovely cotton and lovely buttons on them. They're wonderful. They're really good. Thank you, Andreas. Very kind of you. Now, here's a fact for you. The name James Bond was actually taken from a bird watching book Ian Fleming had handy when in search of a name. As mundane as possible, the quintessential British hero is named after ornithologist Dr. James Bond. Well, isn't that fascinating? Really is. I know Barbara Broccoli quite well, who's one of the producers on it. And I keep saying, why can't I play a villain? But it hasn't come through yet. I must say, I'm really dying to see this new film. So should I give the answer?
I think you should. I think they're struggling in the chat room tonight. I can't see. No one seems to have an answer. Hudson says he's not a big fan of James Bond, which I'm surprised about. I've seen the trailer as well, and it looks fantastic. They had quite a few problems for this James Bond film, though. There was a lot of accidents on set, and Danny Boyle was supposed to direct and walked away. They were worried it was cursed for a while, but it looks like they've managed to pull it out the bag. So, what is the answer?
Well, before I tell you the answer, the other problem was too when we had the lockdown, the film was going to be opened, and of course they haven't opened it because, of course, it would be a huge lack of attendances because of COVID. So I think they may be opening it next year sometime, when cinemas and theatres eventually open to full capacity. But when you've invested all that money, you've got to make sure you get the money back. So that they must be really worried. I'm not that they're worried about the film, because I think the film is wonderful, but I think it's just getting the money back. Anyway, the answer is, here we go, No Time to Die. Time to Die.
Chat host Vince claims he knew the answer, but Astoon, who's normally really strong on the quizzes, drew a blank on that one. So you finally managed to stump Astoon. Well done, Biggins.
Oh, Astoon. Now, don't get too upset. Don't stop putting the money in the machines. We want all your money for the bingo. And who knows, you could be our next £95,000 winner.
Oh, Andreas is saying they had another winner last week as well who won £1,000 as well. So they're giving money away on Bingo All Stars at the minute.
Well, £1,000, that's nothing.
I wouldn't mind it. Astoon's just won a full house and picked up £4. So he's bit of a gap.
Drinks on you, Astoon. Right, I'm going to go to question 2 now. Which boxer is going to make history with their appearance on Strictly, and why? Which boxer is going to make history with their appearance on Strictly, and why? So, have you seen what this year's lineup is?
Yeah. Why don't you? Do you have a few names there, or I can read them out?
I do. I mean, now Jason Bell. I have no idea who Jason Bell is. Do you know who Jason Bell is?
Yeah. So Jason Bell is an American football player who's now he's quite famous over here. He does commentary on American football, which is quite big. But he's probably more famous for dating Nadine Coyle from Girls Aloud.
Oh, well, there you go. You learn something every day, don't you? That's marvellous. And there's Ranveer Singh. Now, should I know Ranveer Singh?
She's on Good Morning Britain and
yes, I do know. I do know exactly. Yes, of course. She's very nice. I think she's beautiful. And there's Clara Amfo.
So Clara Amfo is one who I hadn't heard of before personally, but she's a DJ and a bit of a socialite and stuff like that. she has a show on BBC Radio 1, which is a little bit too trendy for me, I'm afraid. So I'm sure the next name is quite familiar to you.
I think it is, and she's a great friend of mine, and I love her to death. She's marvellous, Caroline Quinton. And I love Caroline because we all know her as a great actress doing situation comedies and things, but she did a series which I absolutely loved, which was she went with her colleague to the most beautiful houses all over the world. And they talked about the different architecture and what the house looked inside. And it was just a fabulous program. And I was very envious of her getting that. And she told me some wonderful stories about it and how great the program was. And I just love it. Have you seen the program?
I haven't actually. I haven't, but it sounds fantastic.
It's really good, and it's the luxury side of buildings. It's wonderful. A huge amount of money spent on the buildings. You know, houses that cost plus £5 million. Just fantastic.
That's not a bad gig. That getting sent around the world. Lovely.
Jamie Lang. Refresh my memory with Jamie Lang.
So Jamie Lang is he's probably most famous from Made in Chelsea.
He's the blonde one.
Yeah, the blonde one. That's it. Yeah, he was going
to be in it last year, and he broke something, didn't he? His Achilles tendon or something.
He did. That's right. He badly injured his leg, and he wasn't able to do it. So he's back this year, and he must have fought.
Oh, right.
And then we've also got Bill Bailey, who I'm sure will be hugely popular on the show. Bill Bailey, the comedian.
Yes, no, he'll be great. And this is marvellous. They've got Judith Chalmers, which is marvellous.
Unfortunately, not Judith Chalmers. This is JJ Chalmers, who is a relay sprinter for Team GB in the Invictus Games. He was a Royal Marine who was blown up in Afghanistan and has since gone on to be an athlete in Prince Harry's Invictus Games, which is for former soldiers and people with disabilities. So yeah, I'm
really sorry that Prince Harry was stripped of his Invictus, because I thought he did such a wonderful job of that. I mean, it was really terrible. I love Harry, and I think it was really awful they took away that particular part of his duties, because he created it and he loved it. It was a great shame. Max George. Do I know Max George?
Probably not. Hunky boy band chap from The Wanted. But I believe he's also dating Ryan Giggs's former wife. So there's quite a lot of reality stars on this year, it seems.
There really are. Is Maisie Smith a reality star?
She is probably more famous for being on EastEnders. She plays. I'm just trying. I don't personally watch EastEnders. I'm just trying to remind myself who she plays actually. But yeah, she's a big star on TikTok. So I think they've got a decent lineup there. Obviously, we haven't said the answer to we haven't given away the answer to the show. But it looks as if again Astoon was caught. So I don't know. This quiz is proving particularly tricky for our quiz champion normally. But Hudson has said, is it Nicola Adams? And Hudson says that she's going to be the first same-sex couple on Strictly. Is that the right answer, Biggins?
No. What a shame. No, the right answer. No, he's absolutely right. It is going to be Nicola Adams, who I adore. She's a lovely, lovely girl. And of course, she is a lesbian. And so she's going to be dancing with another girl, which is great. We don't know quite who she'll be dancing with. But that'll be very interesting. It'll be the tango will be fascinating to see whose arms and legs go around who. It'll be wonderful.
Vince has also helped us out and said Maisie Smith plays Bianca Jackson's daughter, Tiffany. I haven't watched EastEnders in such a long time. I hadn't realised that Bianca was back. So I remember watching her the first time she was on.
I haven't watched EastEnders until when Barbara Windsor left. So I don't know what's going on. Absolutely nothing. But anyway, Nicola Adams is quite right. Strictly same-sex couple will be dancing, and I can't wait to see who she's dancing with. Perhaps it's Anton. Anton Dubek. Oh, no, he's a man. He's a man. Oh, how silly of me. Yes, of course. Now, you missed that joke. Excuse me. Now, should we go on to the next question?
Yes, please.
Who is the oldest child of Victoria and David Beckham? Who is the oldest child of Victoria and David Beckham? Now, he's a lovely boy. I'm absolutely David Beckham's biggest fan. And funny enough, I didn't used to like Victoria, but I met her with my friend Joan Collins, and she was enchanting and kissed me, which I thought was very thrilling. And I'm now a great fan of hers as well. But the Beckhams I love. Of course, their son is famous for being a photographer, and a rather good one, I believe. And he's recently got engaged to a beautiful blonde model called Nicola Peltz. So,
while we're waiting for the answers to come in, Biggins, what's Joan Collins like?
Fabulous. She's a really good friend. She's, I'm not saying just to me, if she's your friend, she's your friend for life. She's marvelous. She is funny. She is entertaining. She is a laugh a minute. She's everything. I mean, she's just wonderful. And I've been on holiday with her. I've been stayed with her in Los Angeles. I mean, she's sensational. I adore her. Really wonderful.
It looks like this question, we've got a few more right answers in the chat room, Biggins, than before. Astoon's got it right. Hudson's got it right. So I think you can put us all out of our misery and give us the answer.
Well, it's a famous American bridge called Brooklyn.
Well done. Well done, everyone.
Brooklyn. Very good. So should we go to the next question?
Yes, please.
What reality show is celebrating its 10th birthday? Which reality show is celebrating its 10th birthday?
Now, this will be fun because well done, Andreas, for winning £3 on 2 lines. This will be fun, Biggins, because I've forgotten to put the answer in the script. So you can play along with this question.
Yeah.
And even though Vince rang me up and reminded me that I'd forgotten to put the answer to question 4 in the script, so I managed to mess it up twice. Well done, Barry.
All right. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little fact. 2/3 of the restaurants on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares end up shutting after a few years, despite his help. I'm not surprised. His help is absolutely hopeless, and I'd shut my restaurant after he'd left too. Anyway, it's very, very interesting. You sort of have a feeling that when he goes in and he shouts and screams at them, it's not going to work. If it hasn't worked after 20 years of them going the way they want, then they have to close it. It's an almost impossible thing.
It's just a bit of theatre, isn't it?
It is a bit of theatre.
It looks like... Oh, go on, sorry, Biggins, to interrupt you.
No, go on. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say Andreas has managed to get the answer right, though he spelt it wrong. And Astoon doesn't seem to be having a good night at all. So I think at the minute, this is question 4. And I think Hudson's got 1 right, Astoon's got 1 right, and Andreas has now picked up a point with Towie. So it's all to play for in the last question. The answer was, which I should have written in the script, would you have got it, Biggins?
Towie.
Would you have got that answer right, do you think?
Yes, of course I would. What do you think, I'm stupid? Right, there we are, 10th birthday. And also, I think, if I'm right, this year is the 20th birthday of Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
I'll double check on Google.
I'm not too sure, but I think it might be.
Let me have a look.
Because I think that's what the boys are celebrating. That's why they wanted so much that we did I'm a Celebrity this year. And obviously it's not going to be in Australia, but it's going to be in Australia. It's going to be in Wales, in a castle, a haunted castle. So I hope that whoever goes in there sees one of 3 ghosts. And I think they're all women. So that could be quite fun for the men. All the women come to that. So, shall we go on to the next one?
This is the last question, and it's a dead heat between Astoon, Andreas, and Hudson as to whether who is this week's quiz champion. So it's a.
I hope one of you is a football fan, because this is a football question. Which football megastar has announced he is staying at Barcelona, having spent the summer threatening to leave? He's a bit of a drama queen, obviously. Which football megastar has announced he is staying in Barcelona, having spent the summer threatening to leave? You naughty boy. Wanting more money, I suppose. Do you know, this footballer earns £980,000 a week at Barcelona. I mean, why would he want to move? Surely they're not going to pay him any more. And what would you do with that money? What would you do?
Well, I am paid that much every week, so
I don't know what I do. So we're talking about £1 million a week. That's £52 million a year. I don't know.
I just think that's too much money. I don't think you could spend that. It'd be like, do you remember that film Brewster's Millions? Was it with Eddie Murphy, where he had to spend a load of money? I think it was £1 million in a month. Then.
Hello.
Hello, Rusty.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
Very well indeed. You look gorgeous.
Thank you very much. I thought I'd dress up for you.
Oh, you are kind. I love it. I love it's pink, isn't it, your dress?
Yes, pink.
Yes, very nice indeed.
Touch the headband as well.
Yeah, very good, very good.
But you look gorgeous too in your bright shirt.
Thank you. We've just had a question about a football. Do you know the answer to this?
What is it? What did you say?
Which football megastar has announced he is staying at Barcelona, having spent the summer threatening to leave?
Oh.
Big Barcelona footballer. He earns £980,000 a week.
Is that
nearly as much as you, Rusty? Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Well, it's a rather messy name because his name is Lionel Messi.
Messi.
Yes. I wanted to be my newest best friend.
Yeah, indeed.
And it looks like our quiz winner this week.
You've got me.
I got you instead. Good,
yes.
Good. Barry's about to tell us something.
I think so. This week's quiz winner, Andreas and Astoon.
Say that again.
Andreas and Astoon were half a second apart. It looks like Andreas is this week's quiz winner. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations.
Astoon just missed out by milliseconds there, so well done. But
well, good evening, everyone. I better get in the room so I can talk as well. I can have a little type. What have you been up to, Christopher?
Well, didn't we have a lovely day last Saturday?
Oh, it was fantastic. Have you told everyone what we did?
I've told them a little bit of what we did, giving out the awards and everything. But
yes.
Linda, you and I, we had such a laugh, didn't we?
Oh, it was hilarious. It was so funny. And Linda, with the three of us were there, and we called up Mr. M, Mr. Motivator. It was very funny the way you were using that laptop, not iPad.
My iPad, yeah.
We were in bed and the laptop rang, and Biggins took the laptop out of the bedding, and it looked really funny. It's I've got some vibrations.
I can't wait to see that. It'll be very funny.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. But we had a wonderful day.
We did, didn't we? It was good fun. Really marvellous. So, any other gossip? What have you been up to this week, Rusty?
I haven't done a lot this week, to be honest. I've been doing a lot of different recipes, just, developing different recipes. And I don't know if you know, but I've written a children's storybook. It's a lovely storybook. I had this inspiration some years ago, and I started writing prolifically about Charlie the Magic Turtle. So I'm working on that. I'm hoping that somebody will pick it up for animation.
Oh, good. Well, turtles are lovely. I love turtles.
Yes, and you'd love my Charlie. He's so gorgeous. You should see him. I'll get a picture and show it. I'll show it to everybody in the room, perhaps next week or something, or when you're in.
All right,
'cause
lovely.
It's
Lovely,
put away.
very
It's
good.
upstairs somewhere.
So have you had him drawn already?
Yeah, I've got pictures of him, and it's a story about the turtle and James. I named it after my son James. You see, the idea was I went to Jamaica years ago, and what happened was there was a massive turtle there, and I used to tell James stories about this turtle, about all the adventures he'd go on, and then I'd take him to bed, and he'd go to bed with having had a story. So I started to put it together with this turtle wandering around, and they're going on magical places, and and the flying fish that talks, and this sort of thing. Really, really magical.
What's your hometown, Barbados?
No, I was born in Jamaica.
Oh, in Jamaica. Right, because
one of the jokes was about Jamaica for Mr. Motivator last
that's
week.
That's right, yes. But I did an opera and Shakespeare season for 3 years in Barbados.
Did you?
And so flying fish we ate all the time. I loved flying fish.
Yes.
Delicious
I've only
fish
eaten
to
it
eat.
once.
Oh, I love it. It's great. And it's easy to cook, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Why I wrote the story about the flying fish was because the flying fish, we go on cruises. I've done a lot of cruises to the Caribbean and that. And as you're going into the Caribbean waters, you can see them rising up and flying and diving into the water. And the idea came to me, these fish landed up on boats. So I wrote a story that these flying fish landed on land. And when they landed on land, I wrote about them going on a little adventure in this magical balloon with James and Charlie going over Dunn's River Fall. But it was all magical. It was different. But they were all animals instead of people. That's what I wrote. All this going on in this head, you see.
What age group are you aiming for?
The age group is 5 to 6, that sort of age group.
Lovely, very nice. Oh, good luck with that.
Thank you very much indeed. I've got
when's it coming out?
Sorry?
You've got 3 what?
3 Bibles. So the 3 Bibles would be so you can make lots and lots of different stories from them.
Oh, right. And is one coming out soon for Christmas or anything like that?
Well, I'm working on it to make it happen. So I don't know.
Right.
I can't say just yet.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Call upon Spirit to help me.
Now, do you fancy playing a game?
I'd love to.
Well, we've got a brand new game which is called Name That Tune.
Name That Tune.
Yeah, so Rusty and I are going to be shown some famous TV theme songs from years gone by, and we have to listen to the whole song. Don't come in before the song finishes, and then say what we think the show is from. And so play along with me at home and tell me what you think, and obviously with Rusty. So let's have the first song.
Okay. I can't hear it.
Shall I give
Did you not hear it, Rusty?
Can you hear it okay?
I heard it, but I have no idea what it was.
I can't hear it properly.
Shall I give you a clue?
You can't hear it properly. Yes, go on.
I'll give you a clue. It was a comedy.
Okay, Bassa.
That was really big in the 90s. And we've got it right in the chat room. Astoon's got it right. It was based in Ireland.
Astoon.
It
was a comedy based in Ireland about some priests.
Oh, what was it called? Father Ted.
Can I say what Astoon has said?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can get some help from the
chat
room.
Astoon says it's Father Ted.
Yep,
that's
Biggins
right.
got in 1-0 to Biggins.
Well done.
Astoon 1-0 to Astoon.
Yeah.
I think you lot in the chat room might need to give Rusty some help. I've picked out some really, really hard ones. So, yes, so some of these are going to be tough.
Should
So
we get?
this
Okay.
next one coming up is a game show. It was a game show. So let's see how you guys get on with this one.
All right.
Could you hear that one, Rusty?
No idea.
I just
I
stopped it
just
just
heard
as it was
on the end.
just as it was about to say what it was. I knocked it off, but it was presented by
Where have you?
Henry Kelly from 1987 to
Henry
1990.
Kelly.
Henry Kelly.
It wasn't
Oh,
a
was it?
game for a laugh,
Was
was
it?
it?
No, it wasn't
No.
Game for a Laugh.
Was it called something gold?
Oh yes, going for
Yeah,
gold.
Going for gold. That's right. Well done.
He's-
Oh,
I don't know.
we both got that.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
I'll give you
that was
half
a
a
joint
point.
effort.
Half a point each.
Right, good.
Astoon didn't have a clue there, but Rusty managed to grab it. So it's currently
Yay.
1.5
It's a joint
points.
effort.
1.5 points to Biggins and half a point to Rusty. I'm gonna have to make these easier next time because you two are bloody useless. Right, this is another game show. Another game show. And let's see.
we're the celebrities. We should know these things.
So let's see how you get on with this one. Oh, well done,
Okay.
Biggins, for getting it right.
Well done, Stu.
Now I'll give you a clue for this. It was hosted by Ted Rogers.
Oh, Dusty Bin.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2,
1.
3, 2, 1 is the correct answer. It was
Yes.
it was Dusty Bin. Unlucky Rusty. Dusty Bin. Well done, Vince.
Yeah.
Well done, Vince. Astoon reminding us, don't forget the bingo as well. Buy your tickets. But yeah, it was 3, 2, 1, and Dusty Bin was of course the mascot of that show. So
Bingo, everyone.
well done to you. Okay, so I think
Yes,
we're on
I hang on. I'd just like to say, would you all remember? Very good to remind us that we are here to play bingo.
Oh yes.
So play as much bingo as you like. Just use this as a little background
Oh, I better
noise for
click
you.
in so you can have a game.
What's
I
that?
better click in so they can have a game. Or should I?
Oh right, yes, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah. That's
Right.
a
So
good
what's
idea.
the next one, Barry?
Okay, so this is our penultimate one. I think the score is 2.5 to Biggins and half to Rusty. So it's currently
Thank
an
you, Vince.
absolute mauling here. You're fighting for your dignity here, Rusty. This one is
Say it again.
this one is a BBC soap that didn't last too long.
Oh, it'd be El Dorado.
You got it, Rusty. You got it. That was super quick. Criminally cancelled too soon.
Bear in mind,
Now,
I can't
I-
hear the music.
I have to question Rusty then, because you're supposed to wait till the music
Oh,
finishes
sorry.
before you come in with your
Sorry,
answer.
It's
You are-
Buzzer's
Honestly,
fault.
what you
You are
like,
quite-
I'm
Rusty?
sorry.
It's my fault, Biggins. I wound her up, reminding her she was fighting for her dignity, and then she got those sharp elbows and were pushing us out the way. So
She's got her dignity
Okay,
back.
I'm sorry.
yes. So the scores
Don't be
are
silly. Don't be silly.
2.5 to Rusty, 2.5 to Biggins, 1.5 to Rusty. So if Rusty gets this back, she'll have pulled off a miraculous
It's a draw.
comeback. So this last one is quite obscure, but it was hosted by a celebrity we've already talked about tonight. So let's see. It was a show about travelling. I believe, I need to Google it actually. I believe it was on ITV.
Was it Judith Chalmers?
It was Judith Chalmers, but what was the show?
Oh, I was going to say that, but you said I've got to wait till the music stops.
Do you know
Yes.
the answer, Rusty?
Do you know the answer, Rusty?
Judith Chalmers. The
Yeah,
Trouble
Yeah, what was the show called? What was it called?
Oh. Oh.
Apologies
It
in the
was
chat room
called-
as well. Go on, Biggins.
Does anyone know in the chat room?
Vince is saying he couldn't
Come on,
hear it very well, so apologies for that. But
Yeah.
Vince has got Judith Chalmers, but we're after the name of the show. It's funny how everyone remembers Judith Chalmers, but not the name of the show. But Biggins, do you know the answer?
No idea.
I just knew it was Judith Chalmers and it's a travelling show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Rusty, if you could get it. Can anyone in the chat room help Rusty here? Because
Come on, Astoon.
if she gets this back, she'll have restored her dignity, which we all need. Astoon, you can do it.
I can't check it out on Google like some people.
It looks as if Vince in the chat host Vince has gifted you the answer here, Rusty. Can you see that in the chat room?
Has he? Wish you were here.
Correct. Wish you were here. Well done. It is a draw. 2.5. None of us. There are no winners in the quiz in the theme tune quiz.
There
tonight.
you are, Chris. See?
And the prize was 2 nights with you, Rusty.
Yes. Without the best laugh. I'd cook and I'd sing, and we'd have a great time.
And
We will, darling. We will.
And last prize is 3 nights with Rusty. So.
Oh, man.
I don't know what Andreas will say about
I
that.
don't know.
He might join in.
Well, it was so funny last week with the 3 of us in that bed thing situation. That was
I know.
funny. Oh, I hope that
very
we
good.
managed to get that video to show everyone in the room.
I don't
Yes,
think we've got
I'm
it
sure we
tonight.
will, Barry.
We will
will be
at
able
some
to
stage.
do that, Buzzer.
We haven't got it tonight, but we will at some stage show. I think we've got plenty of bloopers as well, because I hear it was a right giggle.
Yeah. You should have been there, Barry. You'd have enjoyed it.
Yes, most definitely.
We had this terrible producer. Oh God, he was awful, wasn't he?
I know. Bossy.
Honestly.
God.
Well, you know the saying: if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So
Yeah. Oh,
So isn't that it now, Barry?
that's it. That's our lot for tonight. So I'll shut up and I'll let you say.
Oh
goodbye
well,
to
it's
everyone.
been.
You're
It's
trying to
been
get rid of me
marvellous.
now, then?
No. Stay with me because I want to say thank you to you. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's my
I
pleasure.
want to say, no, not you. I haven't given you your thank you yet.
Oh.
Shut up. You're so bossy, honestly. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me tonight on Bingo All Stars. And of course, thank you and a big round of applause to the wonderful Rusty
Thank you.
Lee.
Oh, it's been a
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me in. Good night, everybody.
When are you hosting? When are you hosting
I think
your show?
in 2 weeks' time. Yeah.
Ah, good. I'm away that
Oh.
weekend. I'm having my hair done.
Say you want to pop in and say hello to me.
But of course, next week we do have the gorgeous Linda Lusardi who is presenting the show,
Yes.
and she will be topless
Oh,
for the first half and bottomless for the second half.
You are naughty.
So do tune in. Thanks very much. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye, everyone in the
Bye.
room. Have a lovely weekend. Lots of love.